AKA the Redskins, if that name still has not resonated with you yet. We're only a few months in. I'm not sure how you would feel about this. Like going through a name change to the Commanders, is it a thumbs up, thumb down, or takes some time? Takes some time. You know what it takes? It takes winning, which is what we find really is going to be the big difference. So I'm our SVP of Media and Content. I head up our broadcast department, and it's not necessarily been the easiest path to get here, but I'd just like to share a little bit about what has helped me along the way as you're out there trying to inspire and encourage and set the path for other women to be able to be in a position of leadership, a position where they have the opportunity to be at the table where the decisions are being made, where their voice is being heard, and to where we're no longer just the only in the room, because I can't tell you how many times here we are in 2022, I've been the only in the room. The biggest thing it starts with, if you're talking about soccer to the C-suite, you're talking about sports and young women getting into this profession, you're talking about a dream. You're talking about a passion, which is what I always had. I can't say I necessarily played a lot of sports growing up for one reason or the other, but I was definitely a tomboy. I loved racing the boys. I loved climbing trees. I loved doing anything outdoors, competitive, and athletic. And that's one of the things that I guess I found when I got into the broadcast career. Sports was the natural fit for me. But I remember my dad early on saying, why would you want to do that? There's only so many television stations. And within those television stations, there's only so many sports reporters. And with the sports reporters, there's only so many that are going to be female. And this is at a time when there really were not that many women in the business. But I had a dream, I had a passion for it, and I don't really take no that easily, which has served me well throughout my career. So it starts with allowing young women to dream of a position, a role, a path that they can achieve. And then also even for myself now at this point in my career to be that example and that role model for that it is something that is possible and it can be seen of what you do. One of my other positions when I joined the Commanders, which was the Redskins when I first joined, is I was the highest ranked female in the organization. And I was the first, and I am still the only female in the NFL to have a full-time position in the radio broadcast booth. And one of the great things that I find and enjoy out of the job that I have, because to me it's just a job, I was hired to me because I was capable and the most competent person for the opportunity, not because I was a female, is when women will listen or young women will write to me and say, you know what, I always listen to the radio with my dad, but I've never heard a female throughout the entire broadcast. Her role was always on the sidelines. And there's nothing wrong with that position, but we're elevating that. We want to keep growing with the positions that we as women possess, we have, and are attainable. To do that, you have to ask for what you want. Nobody's going to give it to you. So we have to teach these young women to have a dream, to dream big, to dream of maybe something that you want, and don't let whatever you see in that position, what color, what gender, be something that deters you from what you want to achieve. And then don't be afraid to ask for it. Everything I've ever done in life or accomplished is because I asked for it, and I wasn't afraid. I would come in, and I was brought in after I actually worked in Boston for a year covering the Patriots, but I started in Miami, went to New York City, Boston proper, and then now I've been in DC for 13 years. I asked for jobs that I knew would make me uncomfortable, that would stretch me, that would challenge me, and that men had sat in before me because for the most part, again, there were not a lot of women in these positions. And I always said, well, what's going to be the worst thing if you don't give me the opportunity? I do it, I'm not good at it, and you can go hire the man the next day to do the next show. Except for the fact that I had prepared to be able to take that seat. And when I made a mistake, because they will always happen, I wasn't afraid to learn from it. So I think that's the other thing, is ask for what you want, but then also let them know that you're going to have failures, you're going to have mistakes. Those mistakes are going to be heightened by a female more than a male in this business, even to this day. We mispronunciate a name, it's going to resonate much further than it does if a male in my same position does the same. In fact, it might not even be brought up if he has a mistake, where for a female, it typically is. So you do your homework, overly prepared, which is what we have to equip the young women with, is how do you prepare for the job you want, not the job that you have. And those are big things that really served me well as I went out throughout my career. Asking for shows that, again, I was not brought in to do, which allowed me to have the opportunity to host the Redskins pre- and post-game show, which allowed me to be seen by the team, which when there was a change in their leadership and they needed somebody to take over their broadcast department, they came to me first, they came to me only for that position because I had asked for the next elevation, I asked for the next challenge. I made sure that I had mentors along the way that would help me, look out for me, because there's a lot of times I think young women in this business or really just in life, you don't believe in yourself and you doubt your abilities, and you don't, because again, a lot of the times you are the only in the room, you're nervous to ask a question. You feel like you have to be perfect, and there is no such thing. I've never seen a man ask a near perfect question all of the time, but yet they go boldly into it. And so it's okay to go boldly in, to make a mistake, to learn, to grow, and to realize that that's part of the process. Part of what we've heard a lot here today already is a lot of times through those failures, through those missteps and the mistakes, that's really where you grow and you get better. And you get primed for where you are going to be established within your career ultimately. The biggest thing too is being comfortable uncomfortable. If I only stayed where I was comfortable, I probably would still be in an early on job. I would never have moved to New York City at 26 years old, where I was the youngest female by 5 years and the only female actually out of 12 on-camera talent that they had hired in New York City. I would never have asked for the opportunity to be a full-time anchor in Boston. I would never ask for the opportunity to be able to do any of the shows that allowed me to get to this position. I would never actually taken the job with the Commanders had I not been okay being uncomfortable. I did not think when they came to me with this job that I would be able to do it. I thought they were crazy because it had not been done before. And again, because I am the highest ranked female at the time in the organization. But they made changes within the organization and made a point to bring other women in, because our team president, which is also the first Black team president in the NFL, the fourth player in the NFL or fourth team president in the NFL that actually played as well, understood the value of diversity, of having women voices in the room, minority voices in the room, to make sure that we are going in the right direction. It's nice to know that I now have 3 or 4 other women with me on our senior leadership team, that we are one of the most diverse leadership teams in the NFL, and that we are making sure that we are representing that throughout the entire organization and giving those opportunities to others to come up as well. I think that's one of the next most important things, is making sure that wherever you're at, whatever you've achieved, that you pass that wisdom on. You bring somebody else with you. You help mentor that next person that needs it. It doesn't have to be female to female. There are plenty of men that have helped counsel me along the way, that have helped believe in me along the way when I didn't think I was able to accomplish it. I don't ever have just one mentor, I have many. And I think you do need a lot of different people with wisdom in your lives to help pass it along, which is what this program and what we're here talking about, is making sure that you can help the young women have the dream, have the career, and make it become a reality to where they're at the table too, making the difference. So the next time that they're in a room, they're not the only, they're not the few, they're not the minority, but we're equal. And it's equal numbers based on how capable you are. And we know that women are just as capable as men, maybe not tackling, maybe not, going out there and taking on the defensive line, but we're more than capable of being in the room and making the decisions, and wise ones as well. So I'm very honored to be here and represent the Commanders today, and to represent a woman that has fought for her career every step of the way, and is in a position of leadership and has the ability to be able to pass that wisdom on and down as well. So thank you.